Hey guys, Matthew Morrow with MorrowInvest.com. I'm bringing you today's 2-minute tip of the day. I get asked this quite a bit about how to evaluate risk. Now, a lot of people would categorize me as a very risky person. Oh, Matthew does rental properties, and oh, he's just very risky. Actually, I'm not. I'm actually super conservative. And let me explain why. My goal is to minimize risk, okay? And how does that happen? Well, it happens a couple of ways. One, through education. Let me give you an easy example. If I told you to go get in your car and drive to the store to pick something up for me, you'd be like, okay, and you'd go out and you'd get in your car and you'd drive to the store and you'd get it and you'd come back. What I just asked you to do, though, is something that's very technical. Right? When you were first learning to drive, when you were 14, 15 years old, and you had to check your mirrors, check your side mirrors, check your speed, check how far somebody's in front of you, look for cops, look for kids running out, look for a deer, right? Don't speed, slow down, don't go too fast, watch when you're turning lanes, blinkers, don't have people jumping around in the car. I mean, there was just so much that you had to learn to learn to drive. Especially if you were driving a clutch, you got to push the gas at the same time you're letting out the clutch, and then you somehow you have 3 pedals and you only have 2 feet, and you're trying to figure it all out. Plus you got this gear shift over here, right? It's a very technical thing, but over time and education, you have learned to do it on cruise control. Okay, so in any investment, that's why I've said many times, you should not invest in things you don't understand. Okay, if rental houses scare you, you shouldn't be in rental houses, right? If there's some fly-by-night investment guy that comes by that's just got all these great numbers, but you're unsure, you have that peace in your Holy Spirit that tells you this is not a good gut feeling, you don't have a good feeling about it, don't do it. I promise you, listen to that voice. You don't need to do it, right? And if you don't understand the investment, well, my brother so-and-so, I let him deal with all that. No, you should not invest in those things. Okay, so with education, it becomes easier. Also with time, it becomes easier. I would tell you that I am much more comfortable in my rental properties today than when I first started. Because when I first started, I didn't know anything. Right? So over time, you learn lessons and you learn things to do and not to do, right? That's just part of it. And here, the last one, compare. You need to learn to compare different investments so that you can know what's a good investment and what's not a good investment, right? And when you're weighing the risk, this can also go into, people start asking about, well, do I put all my houses in one LLC? Do I have a management LLC and then have another one that's the holding property where I actually put the deeds to the houses to keep them separate? Do I have a corporate? They want to know the corporate structure and how they put all these different things. And what's right? Should I put every house in its own LLC? Well, when you're trying to figure out your risk, that's really on an individual basis. There's no real rule of thumb. If you have 10 houses and that's all you've got, you might want to put them in multiple LLCs, maybe 3 or maybe 4, so that if one of them got sued, you didn't lose everything. But what if you have 100 properties? Well, maybe you're putting 10 in each LLC. Do you see what I mean? So just because there's just no rule of thumb across the board as far as risk goes. I have another friend that I talked to the other day, and she puts all her money in CDs. Now, a CD is making you 1%. It's a terrible investment as far as the numbers go. But for her, it's safe, and she knows that money's going to be there, and she doesn't have to worry about if the stock market goes up or down. She knows if she needs that money, it's there. So for her, that's her risk tolerance, which is not very much. So I would encourage you that over time, as you compare different investments and you educate yourself on those types of investments, you will get more clarity about how much is really being risky. I don't think, which is more risky? Is driving your car more risky or having a rental house? When's the last time a rental house sued you? How often do people in car wrecks get sued? Well, the numbers are that you are a whole lot more likely to be in a car wreck than you are having your house burned down, right? So, but people don't look at it that way. For some reason, people are like, oh, a house is more risky than my car. That's just not true. But you see how with education, certain things can become less risky as you go over time and learn those things. I hope this has blessed you guys today. Have a blessed day.